Awesome. How you guys doing? I'm here with my man, Justin Adams, the coach of UFC fighter Kevin Holland, who just had a wild fight at UFC 279 this weekend. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm awesome. First of all, how's your training going?
Training's actually going good right now, actually. Got a fight coming up, maybe December, looking for an opponent. I'll be honest, I'm still looking for one of these old guys to fight me out here. They still don't want to do it, so I'm kind of waiting till that lines up, but hopefully soon I'll give you guys a date.
It's scary, man. I get it.
I'm posting the photos online, me working out and stuff. These guys don't want to get with me now. They think I'm good, so you know how that goes.
I'm one of those old guys. Don't want to fight you. I get it.
Are you still fighting?
I'm not. I detached my retina 2017 and went blind in this eye. So it's kind of funny because if you ever get a chance and watch, like, Kevin will mess with me a lot when we're messing around. He slaps me on that side. And Travis Luter constantly makes it a habit of slapping me on that side just to get me in the game. And I don't see it coming. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Part of the fun.
Could you still fight with that, or would the commission not let you?
Commission won't. And honestly, Travis is our head coach, and he's adamant against it. He thinks that it's important for me to be able to see. He's probably right.
And for you guys watching, Travis Luter is a UFC veteran, fought Anderson Silva, great career. The serial killer, that was his nickname, right?
Yeah, sure enough.
Yeah.
He's the most German man I've ever been around.
Well, I was really into him in high school, actually, because at the time, that's when I first started doing jiu-jitsu a lot. And it was different back then when guys were just kind of known for one style. So you kind of just watch and be like, what's this guy? I'm setting everything up, and how's this guy doing stuff?
I loved it when he was in the Ultimate Fighter and they sat everyone down to see who they wanted to fight for the next round, and everybody was picking and choosing the best fight for him. And Travis, just in his Travis, a German voice as he could, just said, I don't care. Whoever you put in front of me, I'm going to take him down and I'm going to submit him. That's how it's going to go. And he was right.
I miss that era where you had like a big advantage. It's funny, actually, in the segment to that with big advantage of someone doing one thing. Yeah. But you get a guy who does one thing really well. It used to be a cheat code, especially you could take somebody down, pass guard, grab a sub. Yeah. But now it's kind of been like, it's kind of changed a bit, I think, where guys are a little bit better defensively now.
They are, but everybody's so well-rounded and well-versed now. You can see the guy that really excels in one particular field, khamzat, has that wrestling advantage. And likewise, we wanted to try to nullify that with Kevin's length and striking. And obviously, if this was a fight contested on the feet, we win this all day. It's kind of funny. We've talked about just the different things that are specialties, like you say. Yeah. And if this was a pure striking match, we win every time. If this was a pure jiu-jitsu match, Kevin's jiu-jitsu is ridiculous. People they sleep on it. Yeah. His wrestling, khamzat's got amazing wrestling. It just worked out in his favor this time. Next time it won't happen that way.
Before we get into too much of the technical part, when did you guys found out that you were going to fight? Actually, let's go back. Let's go back. What was their interactions like when you guys first got there for fight week? Was he already going at Kevin, or was he just sort of doing his thing?
They haven't liked each other forever. I love it because Kev's in everybody's DMs talking smack, and he is what a lot of people assume the Diaz brothers are. Kevin's like a legit dude that he'll walk in by himself. He's down to fight whoever. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's as gangster as it gets. And, khamzat was kind of, they would jaw back and forth. They don't like each other, and that's understandable. But I guess the first thing was really the first real dust up was kind of at the presser because they had talked smack back and forth. And he had said something about smashing Kev, and, Kev gone back and forth with him. And so, yeah, we got to the presser, and Kev had told he had done a good job. He told the staff, he said, hey, don't let that guy within arm's reach of me because I'm going to smack him if he is. He said, I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Don't let him get close. And you could tell from the video, khamzat made it a point. Kevin was talking to Dana White. They were cutting it up about shoes, and khamzat got within arm's reach, and Kev pushed him, backed him off. He tried a half-ass push kick. People are acting like he actually caught something. All he did is ruffle up Kev's shirt.
Yeah.
And Kev went right back towards him, and it was an altercation.
Was it fun, or were you worried?
Well, they had ushered me to the other side, so this is all after the fact. But that was when the Diaz melee happened, and they started throwing water bottles and being Diaz boys, and I actually got a kick out of it because the next day we were riding the bus with Steve, the giant British security guy. He's about
Yeah,
50 years old. Steve's awesome.
big Steve.
And he was telling us, he said, yeah, that in his, British accent, but he said, yeah, Diaz, he said, we've been friends forever. He started that altercation, and he said, he stepped around me, hit me with a hook to the kidney, and then tried to hip toss me, the little bastard. He said, I had to pick him up and hold him in one spot.
Yo, that's wild. So they were fighting.
Even as friends, Diaz was just going to fight somebody, but gotta love it. And anyway, so that whole thing cracked off, and a shit show, as they all said. And it was first time I think Oppressor's been canceled. So we started by making history. And then
it was nuts. When I heard it was canceled, I thought the fight was canceled. I was like, damn, they put the whole event off. And I was like, oh, okay.
Man, I wasn't sure. And, I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. We got back to the hotel. We were staying at New York. And Kevin stays offsite at Airbnbs just for the mental clarity factor. There's too much going on. And he had left a bag in our room at New York. So we went back to get it, and we were on our way out. And Darren Till came running up with about, it started off with about 5 or 10 of the little khamzat cronies, and that turned to about 25. And they just kept piling up, and Darren kept getting, I think he had good intentions of trying to talk it down. But he gets a kind of a shrill voice. His voice gets really high pitched when he gets in a nervous setting, and you couldn't understand what he was saying anyway. It was kind of just going, Kevin. And so Kevin started kind of razzing him back, and he's going, Darren.
And it back to him.
Yeah. And, I think you saw from the clip, Darren said some things. It was kind of a weird deal. They were all under the impression that Kevin needed to move. And it's like, we were minding our business walking.
Yeah.
You guys ran up on us. You're not going to tell us to leave. And I think there's 4 or 5 of us and probably 25 of them. And it kept getting more and more heated. And, Kev stood his ground and said, no, I ain't. The security was there trying to split it up. And Kev told him, he said, I ain't turning my back on all these guys. He's like, they can go back in the restaurant. And we all exchanged some expletives. And there was one very tall, skinny, very young guy from khamzat's crew that just kept staring. And I asked him, I said, with some harsh words, that's what exactly are you staring at?
Yeah, it was
like,
good.
you can put your ass back in that restaurant right there before you get tied in a knot. And I was worried because I'm usually the one that keeps a pretty level head in the crew. And I was worried that with me kind of cracking off, that we might kind of
get out of hand.
Yeah. And it didn't. It was good. So it cracked me up. My favorite line from that back and forth was when security said, no, Kevin, come on. We need you to go because the other hotel security is coming, and we don't want it to be a big problem. And Kevin said, well, they can't fight better than I can, so fuck them. Fair enough.
He's got a point.
Kevin wasn't wrong this weekend. Like everybody, he wasn't wrong. And so we got him to the Airbnb. The fun part for me was Bob Perez and I were rooming in New York still. I had just told khamzat's guys, basically to eat a dick, and I had to walk through that hotel by myself, or me and Bob. And so I was kind of on the lookout. We were like, okay, this might have been a mistake on my part, but we didn't have any issue. They didn't want to scuffle. They wanted to look tough because I think they're shooting a documentary or something on khamzat, because there's one guy with a camera hitting things from every angle. Everybody wanted in that angle that were on his team, and they all wanted to look tough, but none of them wanted to jump. Like none of them wanted to feel tough.
They wanted to just kind of they want you guys to be afraid of.
And it didn't work. There was not a point in time where any of us were worried. And the best part, I have it on video because the next morning I was going to go to weigh-ins with Kev. So he called me from the lobby from, his car. He said, hey, I'm down here. Come jump the car. Let's go. And I was on the 12th floor in New York. So I climbed in the elevator about 7:30 in the morning, pushed the down button, 9th floor, dings, doors open. khamzat and his entire crew steps in the same damn elevator as me. And I thought, well, this is where I'm going to die. And, I was like, here we go. what are you going to do though? So
Yeah.
I sat there and just Gorham, I think is the guy's name, right?
Yeah.
Tough dude. I really liked his fight with, he fought a couple months ago in a really technical fight. I like the guy.
It's a tough
He
guy.
didn't like me.
Got some
Yeah,
good grappling too.
absolutely. I was not excited about this. You know, when he made it known he was not a fan of me, I was like, ah, shit.
This guy.
But he, like, Khamzat stood next to me in the elevator with his head down, hoodie on, looking like he was trying to cut weight. And Gorham stepped in and looked at me, and so I just gave him kind of that smile shrug, like, well, this is where it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And they got off on the second floor. Nobody said a word. I went on the first floor, jumped in with Kev. We headed to weigh-ins, and we got the call from Hunter Campbell saying, hey, come, we thought we were in trouble. It's like going to the principal's office. He goes, when you guys get here, come in my office. He goes, what's your weight? Kev said 179. He's like, all right, come to my office. We're like, shit, we're in trouble. And then our minds started wondering. We're like, man, they're gonna not let Khamzat fight because of that yesterday. We might get the Diaz fight. We got to go cut my weight, get the Diaz fight. Like, hell yeah, we're on board there.
Yeah.
Wasn't that way. We sat down and it was kind of Hunter had good points too. Said Khamzat's 8.5 pounds overweight. He's not going to cut anymore. Diaz is super light, and he said the commission is not going to make that fight, so we got to shuffle the deck. And the negotiations were on from there. It wasn't a case of can you do this? It was a case of, hey, let's do this and let's figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
And Kevin's company.
Obviously, we can't talk specifics, but did they take care of you guys for doing a little bit extra favor, or did they kind of treat like it's a fight?
They love Kev. How can you not love Kev? The guy will throw his pants. It's a good thing he hasn't thrown his underwear into the stands after a media event yet. I mean, he just skims down what he threw his shoes, pants, everything. Like, everyone loves Kev. He's exciting. I love talking to the old guys, the Forrest Griffins, the older echelon, the Forrest Griffins, the BJ Penns, all these guys. They love him because that's the era they came from, where you fight somebody on 24 hours notice because that's what you do.
That just scrap mentality that used to be big in the fight game 10 years ago. Guys used to be like that.
Yeah, and you got to do it. And so they, of course, they took care of him. And the kid's a star. Here's the funny part is, like, Khamzat loses one, he loses a lot of momentum and a lot of steam. Kev loses one, like the other day, his stock still went up.
Yeah.
Kevin's career is not defined by wins and losses. He's going to be a star regardless. So,
and to be fair, I thought he did great. Like, I kind of liked, I don't know how to describe it because he obviously didn't have a lot of options because he got kind of, ran at him. But I thought some of the stuff was good. I liked that he just kept rolling Granby out of some of those more aggressive spots because he didn't waste his time sprawling and pitch energy. Khamzat slams and falls down his shoulders, rolls right over. I like stuff like that. You know what I mean? We don't see people grapple like that anymore.
Exactly. And we had as soon as we found out what was happening on Friday morning, we went and got some work in with Aljamain and Marab and worked a couple of things as quick as you could. Did it again Saturday just to kind of, and I'm talking like a 30-minute shakeout and then hit a couple things so we don't kill the legs. That's really what we went in there with, was fight mentality and about an hour's worth of real wrestling for this guy. And I'm proud of him. I thought the transitions that he hit when he was in there were good. He had a bum shoulder going in, and it was the one that got caught in the choke. It was more of a crank on the shoulder than anything. And he stood up. The Granby rolls, I've rode him out on those. Those suck. They're terrible. And yeah, Kev's a monster. He did great. And you know what? I got to give him credit. It's like Chimaev. I was walking back down the alley as he was walking up the alley after the post-fight speech and everything, and he stopped me and shook my hand and said Kevin did very good. He's a very good fighter. We're both young. We will fight again. And
so he wasn't a dick once you guys got calm and chatted up. Like, he was cool-ish.
Did you know how many security guards were in the freaking cage? How many people were in the cage after that? I think they thought stuff was really going to crack off. And
all the red coat guys. I mean, you saw Buffer tell him to get back and everything too.
I'm oblivious to it because maybe it's the fact that I'm a one-eyed middle-aged guy, or I don't know what it is exactly. I'm oblivious. So I was kind of like, everything's fine. The fight's over. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And we got in there and Till shook my hand, said good job, thank you, all this stuff. He was fine. Gorham was fine. Everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And we'll fight again.
Chilling.
It is what it is. Like Kev said, I mean, he caught us with the fake glove touch, right? Which was a good move on his part, but it sucked. It sucked. And then he didn't want to stand there. I mean, could you imagine embarrassment if he would have stood? Kev would have caught him because Kev will sleep you.
Yeah.
And he missed weight, you know, shuffled the deck on the whole card and everything, and then gets knocked out. It's like he had to play that smart move of do whatever he could to get it to the ground.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to be arranged, eating leg kicks, eating elbows or anything. Like you can tell the game to wrap him up.
And I'm telling you, Mondo, if you watch if you really study a lot of khamzat stuff, he's very good. He's beatable. He's got holes. He's got some things that he's gonna be working on, I'm sure. But that's not an invincible human at all.
One thing I keep thinking about, right, is like if this was just 3 to 4 years ago, he would have fought Damian Maia by now. You know what I mean? We would have got to see him against someone who has an answer for a very active top game, someone who's got an active guard, they can move around and protect themselves. I'd like to see him against someone also who won't just try to get up. Like, no offense to like the Leech or anything, but like I don't think he was actually equipped for that. You know what I mean?
No. And alongside that, my thought, that's a big man at 170. He's not big at 185. So one of the things that I was thinking of earlier today is Kevin had success at 85 until Brunson and Vettori because of the fact that he could play at his range with length, and you know, and he's got knockout power. Khamzat is so physical, he's gonna get exhausted. Can you imagine trying to fight Vettori the way he tried to fight Kevin for 5 rounds? It's like it's exhausting. And I don't know how that hard's gonna be. So I think we'll see him struggle at 85.
Well, I was thinking about when he fought Gilbert Burns, right? Imagine how different that fight is if Gilbert decided to shoot a little bit more.
Or if Gilbert was an actual welterweight. It's like that's a blown up 55er.
If we're being honest, yeah. To be fair.
And if he was a good size, like if he was a normal sized welterweight, that would have been a lot different fight, I think. But regardless, Khamzat's very, very good at what he did. I know for a fact what I'm going to answer for him the next time we fight him. And people that are watching this are going to think that's silly because of what happened. Kevin downloads things. He learns quickly, and we'll fight him again. That'll happen again.
Because like just as a grappler watching that fight, I actually didn't think Kevin did anything wrong besides maybe step his head out a little bit too long in those positions. But when I look at it, I understand why he was there because, you know what I mean? What else was realistically an option? Just put his head up, you know what I mean? Look around. But when I see people who don't get like, oh, he was dominated, I'm like, was he really dominated? I don't think he was dominated. He didn't get hit. He didn't get beat up. Is anything hurt on him?
His shoulders hurt, but it was hurt before. It's, you know, and then like he said in that post, he lost a high profile grappling match. Yeah, is how he feels about it.
I mean, if we're being honest, that's what it was. It just looked like class to me.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I think we'll see. It's like we're already making a lot of headway in the wrestling department. Clearly, people saw that. We stood up twice, right? Yeah. Got taken back down, true, but we did. We stood back up when it's really hard to do against a guy that's not slippery, that's not sweaty, that's got a good, strong grip on you and everything.
And it wasn't like he broke contact either. You know what I mean? Like you could argue that was the same takedown in a lot of cases, and Kev just defended it by getting up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, he did really well, and that's with the little bit of wrestling that we were able to put in. It's like the stuff that we're adding, the guys that we're bringing in, the new plans we have and put in place. It's like we're working a lot with Gino Morelli down in Houston.
Great.
I think Gino was a Penn State stud for a long time and a monster grappler. We got a lot of things going on. It's going to be a different scenario next time. And let's be real. What happens when you stuff a few takedowns and Khamzat's tired and his shot's not as fast or as strong? And we've got the old right hand still. So
who do you guys want to fight next? Just to shift the topic slightly before I let you get out of here.
Yeah. Wonder Boy. Definitely Wonder Boy. I think that'd be a excellent fight. Everybody thinks it'd be a fun fight. Wonder Boy thinks it'd be a fun fight. It's funny, we got on the plane Saturday and Wonder Boy finally was going back and forth with Kev in the DMs, and he's like, I'll be in touch. So I hope it happens.
Thanks with Wonder Boy soon. That could be a fun fight for you guys.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be a lot of
fight for Kevin too, I think.
what is he? He's ranked 6th or 7th, so it'd be a nice jump in there.
I think he just came off a loss to Gilbert Burns recently or something like that. So
Mhm.
he's probably been working on a grappling event. Would you
Yeah,
guys stick
yeah.
with him or would you grapple him?
You know what? There's no telling with Kevin. Who knows? I mean, this is the guy that tried to throw a flying armbar on Thiago Santos in the first minute, you know.
Almost submitted Jacare too. That was nuts.
Crazy. Crazy. You never know. I never know. He never knows what we're gonna do until we go in there. So we try to prepare for everything and then hope for the best. But I'm proud of him. He did really well. And this was a big weekend. It's like this kind of solidified that he's obviously he's a company man, but he's a scrapper. Kid'll fight anybody anytime. You know what was cool was we're right before the fight started, we were sitting there with in the cage, and khamzat was doing his whatever that entrance was.
Yeah, that
And Kev turned around and he looked outside the cage, and BJ Penn was standing there or sitting in a cage side, and Kev said something about, he said he was a huge BJ Penn fan, he yelled it to him, and BJ jumped up and started throwing a hand at him and everything. He's like, I'm a huge Kevin Holland fan, kick his ass.
I like that.
And that's always cool, right? So when we were walking out, BJ stopped me and shook my hand, and he's like, hey, tell him keep his chin up, that kid's tough. So people, great recognizes great. People know he's going to be fine. He's already fine. I'll send you a picture of his eyes. He got gouged in the eyes on the ground a little bit. Nobody saw. It was dirty.
I like that they're not calling him Big Mouth anymore. I like that they're actually calling him his name, because I didn't like that name too much, because like that doesn't actually describe what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more than that. Dialed
in, focused Kev's scary. It's like when we're talking is when we're maybe shedding off some nervous energy, when we're dialed in and focused, it gets a little bit more dirty.
Yeah, man. Like, the fight was crazy to me. Like I think about that in a lot of he entered the guard, beat him up, got him out of there, looked real good doing it.
It was so funny because Travis and I were sitting there, and as soon as Jacare took him down and we were in, he was in our guard, Travis was yelling, no, Kevin, gotta get up, get up. And then he starts hitting him with these elbows, and Travis just turns to, okay, no, that works. Keep doing that.
That's what I said too. I was like, this is bad. No, we're fine.
We're good. And who would have thought a skinny little boy like that? Like, that's Kev's skinny. He's like a stick man out there. That boy's got power. He knocks him back. So I don't know. It's been exciting. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more fun going forward. And I really hope we get the Wonder Boy fight so we can knock that out.
So too, I'll probably interview for the next one if you have the time, and probably talk to you maybe pre-fight. We can go from there.
Do it anytime you want. Let me know. Let's set it up. We'll do this as much as you want.
Awesome. Good luck. You guys have a great next fight. Thanks for spending the time with me, and we'll chat again soon. Justin Adams, everybody.
Keep me posted on your fight.
Oh, I shall.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
So pause.